Hi, everyone. My name is Jillian Sidoti, and this is the Entrepreneur Live Stream. And I am joined by my beautiful co host, handsome co host,
I know I haven't been
Nate Dodson.
called beautiful all week
I
long.
said it, and then I was like, let me walk that back. And then I was like, now I got to walk it back again for your wife. Keep walking back. But I'm here with Nate Dodson. And today we're going to talk about all things social media trends. And we're going to do that right after this.
Great empire begins with a blueprint. What's yours? It then starts with a firm foundation and vision. As you grow, your business becomes more than just an idea. It becomes a company. With the right mindset and knowledge, it grows into an empire, your fortress of success. At Entrepreneur, we provide the education, insights, and strategy for you to build your empire. From legal and business to marketing strategies, we're here to help. Join us on YouTube and get our newsletter to start building your empire today. Entrepreneur, here's where business grows. Subscribe now.
I gotta be honest, I love that thing.
Tells you exactly what we're up to over here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's program. And today we're going to really be talking about social media trends. Some of you may already know about social media. Maybe you're already on social media. You're watching us on social media right now through YouTube. But we're really going to talk about the trends out there. And Nate, what do you think the biggest questions are about social media trends right now?
You know what? I think one of the most difficult things to understand about social media is we can talk about trends today, but tomorrow, guess what? There's new trends, new strategies, new algorithms that get changed. So I think the toughest thing to really learn is to recognize you've got to relearn and pay attention throughout.
That's right. You know what? So true. And I had mentioned before this stream that I am currently, I try to always keep up with these things. And if you're an entrepreneur out there, the one thing I'm going to say at all times is that you need to be a lifelong learner. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you need to be a lifelong learner, but especially if you're a lifelong learner. And right now, one of my learnings is I'm reading Day Trading Attention by Gary Vaynerchuk, and I never know how to pronounce his name correctly. And it's a pretty good book. I like it so far. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about that, but we're also going to be talking about what we're seeing out there in the trends and what you need to be doing. And the number one thing I always hear entrepreneurs say to me, especially some of the older ones, actually even some of the younger ones, even my cousin who's a little younger than me, they say the same thing. They go, "I hate social media. I don't want to do social media. I don't want to. I hate social media. My social media is my personal stuff. I don't want to put that out there." Um, so
Totally get it.
yeah, yeah, and I get it. I get it too. And by the way, like something I'll tell you is like there's a difference between you as a person and you as a brand. You as a person should be coming out in that brand. But one thing that Gary Vaynerchuk talks about is that there's a thing called PBCPG.
You sound like you're
PBCPG.
from the government or military at
I know.
this point.
Instead of a 3-letter agency, I'm a 5-letter agency. It's a it stands for personal brand consumer packaged goods. And this really talks about leveraging personal brands to sell consumer goods. So or services, it doesn't have to be
Yep.
goods if you're a service provider. So you need to understand that being personable is almost step number one. It doesn't mean you have to put your entire private life online. It just means that your personality or the personality of the company, the culture of the company has to shine through. And so, for those of you out there that are like, again, this is stressing you out. I've already started this with stressing you out by telling you you have to get personable. Is I want you to go follow Duolingo's brand. Duolingo, the language app. I do Duolingo every night. I make my kids do Duolingo every night. And I want you to go
What
follow them as a
language?
brand. Yeah, language.
And which one are the kids learning?
Oh, we all learn Spanish. We live in Puerto Rico, so we're all learning Spanish. But I'm
My
also
youngest is
doing.
working on Japanese, and I'm like
Oh, good
every
for
night on
her.
Duolingo, and I'm like, well, I guess we've got to go to Tokyo.
So, do a super side note, but we went to Tokyo. We went to Japan a couple of months ago, me and the kids, and my kids are already asking me to go back. So, have your kids been there
No, no,
yet?
no. But well, anime fanatics nonstop, you know,
Hmm, hmm.
listening to
Yeah,
music that I don't understand, and they're like, oh no, this is Japanese, you know, electronica or
good for them.
EDC,
No,
whatever it
good for
is.
them.
So it's
Japanese.
adorable.
That's a hard language to learn. So, yeah,
Definitely.
what you really have to do is start making content that has a little bit of a personal edge to it. And if that makes you nervous, like I said, go check out Duolingo and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
so
that you
that's
bring up being a lifetime learner. I mean,
mhm, yeah.
I know that you do a lot of education. Well, I consider myself more of a student. And even to this day, spending thousands of dollars every year on masterminds and education and just trying to keep up to date, hiring consultants to teach how to do, frankly, what we're talking about here. And Jillian, you've just kind of been a master for so long at creating engagements, and that's
Mhm.
has always really impressed me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, for me, what it really comes down to is you have to be consistent in your social media marketing as well. Because if we know anything about the consumer, is they never get something the first time. They never get something the first time unless you've made like some crazy viral video. Consumers do not get things the first time. So you have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. And you have to vary the message or the delivery of the message depending on your audience. One thing I found very, very exciting about Gary Vaynerchuk's book and what he talked about, and something we talked about on a previous stream, was we talked about the importance of an avatar,
Mhm.
right? And how it's really important to be speaking to your avatars. And he said you need to really not just speak to your avatars, but know all the potential avatars, that sometimes the audience you're trying to reach is elusive, or you can reach them in a different way. So to look at trends and not be afraid of trends, and what those look like. I mentioned Mohawk Chevrolet. I'm never going to buy a truck from Mohawk Chevrolet, but if you follow their TikTok, for example, you can see what they do and how fun it is. And the way they market themselves to their avatar through this Mohawk Chevrolet. They call it the dealership. It's based on The Office, right? I wish I knew the dentists, but there's a group of dentists. I don't know where they are, and I don't remember their name, but all they do are trending TikToks. They're never telling you about how great they clean teeth, or that their fluoride is superior to other dentists' fluoride or anything like that. All they do is trends, and people love it. So you can't be afraid of trends either.
I guess I've kind of had two different feelings on exactly what you're talking about. You know, we've
Mm,
hired consultants that says, well, you have to build your personal brand and you have to do all of these things and you have to talk about all this stuff. And a lot of it was chasing the viral trends, but to a large extent, it almost felt, I mean, just shallow. Looking
yeah.
for views, which I see as being very different than creating engagement, really just two different goals. So
Oh,
I
for sure.
get the dentist like, hey, we're just creating eyeballs or gaining eyeballs, but are they really pushing ahead their purpose? And I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the thing is like the thing about that is if those dentists, they're probably reaching their audience in their key demographic, their market, which is like, a very small space.
Mhm.
It's probably like maybe a 15, 20-mile radius from where their office actually is, right? So there's that, number one. But they have the potential to perhaps expand that radius by opening new dental offices. But where they really have an opportunity to reach, they're reaching all of these people around the country who are never going to come to them for dental services, right? They're reaching all of these people around the country. And how can they leverage that? Because being a good entrepreneur is all about leveraging. And what they can do is they can start selling dental products that can be shipped, right? That's how they can leverage that. But let's get back to that small audience, or not the small audience, but the potential actual dental customers. One thing about going to the dentist. I love going to the dentist. I always have loved going to the dentist,
You're
but I have
so
okay teeth.
weird.
I know, I know, but I do love going to the dentist. I've always liked getting my teeth cleaned, but I didn't get a cavity until I was like 42 years old, and it was like the most devastating day of my life. But but
No.
I know you went 42 years with no cavities. How did this happen? But my husband's terrified of the dentist. He hates the dentist, right? By these guys doing these viral trends that make you laugh, feel relaxed, they're not inadvertently, but is it advertently? Is that the word you would use? They're very advertently making their potential patients feel very comfortable enough to go to the dentist. See?
That makes sense right there.
Yeah.
So one of the most impressive things that I've always really looked up to you for is your ability to not only target but to create conversations online. Like the true engagement of people responding to you, responding to each other, and creating almost like a meet up conversation, but really it's based off of the posts that, questions or static posts or little videos that you get online.
Yeah, well, because there's like it's always about emotion, right? And thank you for that. That's very sweet of you. But it's always about emotion. People, if you understand the emotions of your potential investors, because usually I'm talking about investors, of your potential customers. If you know what their emotions are, what their fears are, what makes them feel good, what gives them joy, what makes them laugh, what what they are confused about. If you know what those emotions are, and then either relate to those emotions or give them a solution to whatever problems they have, that makes for good content, period. And
Do
you don't have to
you
stick to anything. Yeah.
change your avatar based on the platform that you are on? I mean, TikTok, kids,
Yeah,
Facebook,
absolutely.
different
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we're seeing is, and this is actually something Gary Vaynerchuk talks about in the book, is what we're seeing is that the average age of TikTok is skyrocketing. It's not skyrocketing, but it's averaging up. So, where it used to be, I remember my kids were first on TikTok, right? Probably 5 years ago, my kids were on TikTok and it was all goofy little dance videos. And I'd be like, get off that TikTok. I don't know what's on there. That's dangerous. And now, like, I know a lot. I mean, I think we're in the same camp with this. I know a lot of older people who are now on TikTok. And we've also seen the average age of Facebook average up, right? So the it's twofold, right? The formatting is different, the messaging might be different. And another thing Gary Vaynerchuk says is that you want to make sure that you're not always doing the exact same format every single time. We see people who do videos in their cars. You know why people do videos in their cars? Because the sound is really good. It's a little recording studio in there, and the light can be really good if you're parked in the right place and you have the right atmosphere. So you see that, but then you might also see videos like what we're doing right now, a little more professional setting, with a professional microphone and things like that. And so you wanna switch it up a little bit so people don't just scroll by because they think it's the same old video. And you also want to know what format works on what platform. Generally speaking, on Facebook, I always do text. Always, because I know people are more likely to engage with text on Facebook than they are with video. Um, so there's that, and the same with Twitter or X. Um, it's the same there. But the thing you need to understand is what are the emotions of your potential customer, and what problem are you going to solve? And the problem you're going to solve in the with your social media might not immediately be to the end of your product. It might just be the problem we're going to solve is your mood.
Mhm.
I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you think. I'm going to make you feel something, that kind of thing.
Does that get built into your audience of like, well, I'm looking for people that have a tough day and are looking to just laugh?
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, absolutely. And you can map this out. As a matter of fact, what we'll do, so you got to come back. If you're watching this live, you got to come back. I have a social media calendar, and it's a spreadsheet, and let's give that to everybody for free. So we're gonna put a little liner note in this live stream in the comments or wherever you put them on YouTube.
let's see if that works. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. We got the little QR code. Follow
Yeah,
that,
okay, perfect.
and
Go to
Jillian
that
will
QR code, sign up, and I'm gonna send you if you sign up, I'm gonna send you the social media calendar to fill out. And I think I even have some suggested social media posts in that calendar already. But you kind of can plan this out. And then also you can just jump on anything that's trending. And for me, I use social media not just for business purposes, but also for personal stuff as well. And sometimes what I'll see is I like, oh, this personal thing really worked well. How can I reformat that to for my business so that it works for my business as well? I'll give an example. I took a picture of myself because I was feeling pretty good about myself. I took a little selfie while I was in a hotel room in Tampa Bay. And then I looked at the selfie and I was like, I can't just post this online. It'll look ridiculous.
Isn't
Like
that a
it'll just be
part of it?
silly to post a selfie like of me standing in front of a mirror in a hotel room. So I just let it sit in my phone. Well, yesterday I put up a post in our Facebook group and on one of my Facebook pages about how I recently lost 25 pounds. 20 let me be more honest, 22 pounds. It wasn't quite 25.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I lost 22 pounds and I posted this picture. And I wrote about how I lost 22 pounds, but it wasn't what I ate or what I did or the exercise I did because it's clear. The only way to lose weight is through exercising and eating well. And that means different things for different people. Frankly, it just does. At different ages and in different sexes, all of that stuff. So I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not going to tell you how to work out and how to eat better to lose weight. What I am going to do though is I'm going to tell you how to set goals and how to build habits in order to be able to do those things. because we all know what to do when it comes to losing weight. It's just a matter of setting the goals and habits. So I put that into my Facebook group. And then I said, and if you want me to help you with setting your goals and your habits, click the link below. And that got huge engagement because that is a problem that I proved I know how to solve.
Is proof in the 22 pounds of pudding?
That's right. No pudding for me, or if it's only sugar-free pudding. So, although that
I don't.
sugar-free stuff is supposed to be terrible for your gut, so who knows?
There you go. And you brought up your Facebook group,
Mhm.
and I think it's a private group.
Yeah, it is. But
It's
anybody can join.
Last Life Ever.
Yeah,
Great.
last night. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Private group, totally free. Come in, join us. Last Life Ever. And there's a lot of cool stuff in there. It's a great place to find information, laugh a little, meet some new friends, network, that kind of thing.
Can you give us a little kind of a deeper dive? You've created a group, you've attracted thousands of people to check it out. They're getting your message, they're getting your information on a daily basis, they're participating themselves. It sounds great. I'm going to start a group and have more engagement of a designated audience.
Yeah.
But how do you
Yeah.
keep people engaged and interested and responsive?
A couple of things. So with that group, I might put in there things that will get spicy and controversial, but we try and the way we do that is through a ridiculous thing called brackets. So if I want somebody to get really invested and highly emotional about something, I'll put something in there where the risk point is low. And what I mean by that is like we do these things called brackets where we do these competitions between random things. And like so one time we did brackets for fast food, and people like were fighting to the death over whether Wendy's was more superior to In-N-Out, like stuff like
Well, that's
that,
just
or
silly.
Chick-fil-A. I can't even remember that. It was ridiculous. People were fighting in the comments like crazy, but that's low stakes, right? There's no like it's not like a political debate. Like that's one thing we won't allow in the group is a political debate. So people love to give their opinion, and if you can make it a safe way for people to give their opinion on things without feeling like they're being attacked or it's low stakes, that's awesome. That's so great. We also put things that are inspirational in there. We invite people to share what they did over the weekend, for example, things like that. But the big part of it is to consistently post and to also let people know on a regular basis that it's also okay for them to add to the group within your rules of your group. Now, if you want to have a group that is politically charged, that's fine. Maybe that's your thing, but that's not what we're all about. Last Life Ever, to really answer your question, is about living the best version of your life. So we want people to come in and feel good, not angry or hopeful, not you know pessimistic. Those are the emotions we're looking to invoke from people. We want them to truly feel um like that their life can either change from whatever circumstances they're in right then, or even be better than it already is. And so whatever we can do to move that ball forward for them is what we do, because we believe that you owe it to yourself, your family, and your community to live the best version of your life.
And I have noticed with the content that you post, it's almost always asking a question.
Yeah. People love to give their opinion. Or tell
No,
you
for real.
about themselves. If you can always make it about your audience, that's always more valuable.
So as an example, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Your example of taking a selfie in a hotel, but really you're communicating about what's your goals, even though you're talking about what you've accomplished or what your goals are. But how about you, Mr. Audience?
Well, right. I mean, like, again, I took that picture. I was feeling really good about myself. I took that picture. I took that picture actually weeks and weeks and weeks ago. I looked at the picture. I almost deleted it because I was like, I'm not gonna, where am I gonna put this? Like, I'm not gonna put this anywhere. Um, uh, uh, for me to put that out would just be straight up bragging. I'll brag about my kids all day long. I'll brag about my husband all day long. I'll brag about my dogs all day long. But I don't want to be that person who's bragging about myself. I just don't. I don't I that's me. All power to you if you wanna do that, and if that's what you do. But it's not for me, and so I almost deleted it, and then I realized, no, I can actually use this to help someone else. And if you always go out with, how does this post, this video, this thing serve my community, my audience, my customers, then you can't go wrong.
Love it. Could you give us a little, like, it's a different group. It's not really focused. Well, it's not focused on business. It's focused on living your best life ever and personal wealth, emotionally, financially, just kind of everything. How does it change or benefit your audience, your avatar? At the end of the day, you're still doing some business. How has this like really targeted your avatars? Or did it?
Um, it I feel like we have right now, we are focused on 2 distinct avatars. I think we have more avatars than these 2 distinct avatars, but these are the ones that we have recognized. There's the one we're super focused on right now is the one that is has most gravitationally pulled towards us, I guess you if you will, which is the 35 to 55-year-old entrepreneur, male or female, has had success in their life, um, and may have had some setbacks somewhere along the way, but overall has had some success in life, and there becomes a question of now what? Now what? And so we answer that, now what? That's what we're doing. The second avatar, and that's a pretty broad avatar, right? Though but we have noticed that by and large they're either entrepreneurs or they absolutely crave to be an entrepreneur. The second type is a young hustler, somebody who's either in their somewhere in their 20s,
Mhm.
and they don't know if they should go to college. They don't know if they should get a job, a corporate America job. They don't know if they should start a business, but they're hustlers. And they have questions for people, and like me and my partner Jeff. My partner Jeff was also an attorney, who got cancer, who got leukemia actually, and ended up he was a bankruptcy attorney, and he got leukemia and ended up filing for bankruptcy. And it was a devastating time in his life. And then when he came out of that haze, he thought, "Well, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. This is for the birds." So he
I've been saying that since
he
law school,
I know,
20
right?
plus
We
years.
all have. So he turned around, and what did he do? He ended up being a real estate entrepreneur. And so oftentimes we can answer those questions for those young hustlers, like, what should you do? What do you love? Where's your passion? What is the shortest route from A to B? Not, you know, go to college, get a degree, go into lots of debt, get a master's degree, go into more debt, get a job you hate, and by the way, that's not everybody's, maybe they don't get a job they hate, maybe they get a job they love and they have a wonderful career and move on. But really kind of trying to help that crowd figure that out. So, but eventually what I want to do is get into the teenage market because I'm dealing with that right now with my own teenager. You know, what do I do with the rest of my life? I don't care what you do with the rest of your life as long as you live the best version of it.
Couldn't agree more. And personally, still trying to figure out what to do with my life.
I don't know. Your life's looking pretty hot. Like going to the Olympics. Kids are learning Japanese.
I've been hearing it's the last life ever. So, we got to do our best at it.
Exactly. Hey, listen, that's the thing. Like you got to be proud of that kid of yours for taking up the mantle to try to learn Japanese on her own. That's impressive, dude. That's something you should be a proud papa about.
I appreciate that. Yeah, she's the overachiever of the family. No, this is just since you talked about the teenagers, let me share what I did for my two girls. I've got a 12-year-old and a 15 going on 18-year-old. Young one, she's very science focused. She goes to a STEM school. I got her a training program on making beauty supplies. And my oldest, she's artistic. I'm like, okay, well, your sister's going to create the product, and all you have to do is create the branding, create some ways to advertise the pictures, the graphics. And then we'll throw a little bit of money behind the advertising, seeing if they can have their first entrepreneurial endeavors.
I am so excited about this. I want to know everything about it. I want you to keep me completely informed because I actually was talking with one of my friends who's an esthetician the other day, and she wanted to start, a skincare line. And she had a specific reason why she wanted to start the skincare line. Um, I have a property. I own a couple of resort. Oh, let me rephrase that. I'm invested in a couple of resort type properties. To say that I own them makes it sound like I'm like this hotel magnate. That is not the case. I just
Don't
want to be
worry,
very
I own
clear.
Microsoft. You didn't even realize that.
Microsoft. Right, exactly. That's exactly same concept. So I'm invested in a couple of resort properties, and I have one that's going to be doing a grand opening here soon. And it's in the Dominican Republic. And it's got a spa in it. So she wants to get the contract to create the skincare line for the spa. And I said to her, I was like, listen, I'm sure we can work this out somehow, but you're thinking too small. The my resort's gonna pay you hardly anything. And it's not because we're cheap. It's gonna pay you hardly anything because it's a small resort in the Dominican Republic. We're not talking, a Walt Disney World resort on property that is always filled to capacity, right? With 400, 500 rooms. So I said, you really have to be thinking about not just creating products for my hotel and then going from hotel to hotel to hotel to sell, but how do we get this out to a larger audience and make it possible for people buy this product or for hotels to buy this product and white label it for themselves so that they have the feeling that they have an exclusive product to their spa? How do we get to other spa owners? How do we create a course for spa owners that we can sell online and like the Alex Hormozy gym membership model and then say, hey, here's our course on how to run your spa perfectly, and make lots of money. And then say, and oh, by the way, here's the package of products that we talk about in the course that you can use right in your spa. Like these are the things to think about. And also, I was just reading an article. It's so ironic you mentioned this, and I was going to do a TikTok about this. I was just reading an article the other day about like the top 5 businesses to start right now, and number 1 was beauty. Number 1 was beauty. So, good luck. I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, I'll let you know every step along the way. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, learning it, it's a, again, like marketing, a lifelong education. So I'm trying to get these girls to understand, learn about it, and figure out that it's more than just I'm gonna go ahead and make some lotion. There's everything else that has to happen to turn it into profits.
Oh, yeah, and, another thing that I would say to your girls is, and I'd say to all of you out there who are thinking about, social media sounds so overwhelming, and I can't it's too much. Where do I start? How do I do it? Do I have to do everything perfectly? No, and, no, absolutely not. A phrase that Gary Vaynerchuk uses in this book is, "Don't try to boil the ocean." In other words, because you're never gonna be successful, right? If you try to do everything all at once perfectly and get it to all sync up together, it's not gonna happen. So just start somewhere and start with, things that you're comfortable with. Um, the other thing he talked about was you have to start live streaming, which is, what we're doing right now. Which to be hon
We're here to
fair
help. Yeah.
for this brand, that's all we've done, but
Well, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to help everybody do a little bit better and get their American dream. And nowadays, that comes down to doing your own thing. Getting that
yeah.
corporate job, working for the next 30 years, getting that salary just ain't gonna cut it.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No. So let's talk about live streaming for a second. One thing we do is we are consistent. Now, we did have a week off because you were traveling last week. And and actually, Nate, I'm gonna say next time we're not gonna do that. If one of us can't be here, the other one should just stream.
Agreed.
The other one should just stream. But and so what I'd say to all of you guys out there who are watching this, there will be a live stream of the entrepreneur program every single Tuesday, because the number one thing with to to build your audience is that consistency is key. And then the other thing is, and I'm going to do this right now. Hi, Steve Shannon, is to engage with viewers in real time. So you want to interaction's a huge benefit. It makes your audience feel good, but not only that, it encourages your audience to work, and I want to stay engaged and to ask questions. So, and it provides valuable feedback for us, for you. When you live stream and then you interact and encourage comments and questions from the audience, then you are getting real time data for what you should do in the future. So, for example, Steve's offer to live
Steve's there
stream
for you.
so I appreciate the help. But you can get real time data. Like you can get a question in your live stream that might be a complex question that you can do another live stream. What should you be doing during your live stream? Providing value, just providing value, something valuable to the viewer, whatever that is. Another thing that I have not always done, and I'm trying to get better at, as you can see, I have a microphone, my camera's pretty good, my background's okay, is have high quality equipment.
Yep.
An iPhone can be high quality equipment. A simple $15 microphone off of Amazon could work. But what you really wanna make sure is that the space sounds okay. If you don't have a super high quality microphone, your space sounds okay, and your lighting is pretty good. I once spoke to a professional, podcasting company, and I asked them, "What should I do? Where should I have my background, etcetera?" And their answer to me was very, very simple. "If you have a closet, go in the closet." You're gonna get the best sound, and you can totally control the lighting there. Yeah. If you don't have anything else. In other words, going to closet is a great place to have great sound and to be able to have complete control over the lighting.
So something that is kind of along the same vein, and you brought it up. iPhones are amazing, but actually their audio kind of is not that great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting a wireless or a Bluetooth mic that either plugs into the iPhone or just connects through Bluetooth with the microphone, the audio comes through so much better that way. And you can even set it up where if you're trying to do an interview or you're trying to create some dialogue with a partner, they have some of these wireless mics that you can both have it. It streams to one phone, so it can really create a better group video with much more high quality sound.
So absolutely, and you can find any number on Amazon. I will post a link to a couple in the show notes or the liner notes after this live stream. But um the other thing you can also do is get like a ring light to put on top of your phone. I personally have a Google Pixel, which also have a pretty decent camera in it. Right now, I'm just using the camera on my laptop that's built in. It's not the highest quality camera, but I have two huge lights here. This is an actual window behind me, and that is an actual bush that desperately needs to be trimmed, but that's another story for another day. Maybe on the next live stream, you'll notice it's all cleaned up back there. Anyhow, but, and this microphone, I'll actually talk about this microphone for a second because this microphone's actually a great alternative to the more expensive podcast microphones. This is the Shure SM58. This is a very old style microphone. It has existed for a forever and ever and ever. It's actually made for singing. So I have this is my microphone for when, whenever I play in a band with my husband. And this is a little adapter that comes with it. It's called the MVI, and this allows me to plug right into my computer. Now, why would I choose this microphone over a traditional podcast microphone? Well, one, I thought long and hard about getting a traditional podcast microphone, and I would also I'm guessing that's a Shure that you have right there, Nate, is
It
that correct?
is completely. So I was
Yes.
like, you mentioned it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I think I got the same thing, but less singing,
Yeah.
more podcasting.
Yes. So that's an actual podcast mic. That's a little more expensive. I'm guessing that one was around $300. This mic is around $100, and I think it was around $100. And you can also buy these used on eBay or what have you. But the reason why I like this microphone is because it's super portable. So I can bring this, a cord, and my little thing, and go anywhere. And it actually makes it a lot easier. And then I can also use it as, a interview mic. Like I could hold it up to my face and then interview somebody if I wanted to. And that's why I love this mic so much. I'm also trying to live more of a minimalist lifestyle where I don't buy more than what I need. And that was a huge consideration for me. It's not the $300. It's just having more stuff. And I'm trying to have less stuff.
And for anybody
A
that's watching,
little
you
more
also don't
information than
need to
I
have
needed.
this like crazy 6K camera that I got as well. People all the time like, wow, it sure is clear. And it just comes down to the quality of the equipment, and it's a great place to end up at. But literally, your cell phone, your iPhone,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody except for you that has a Pixel, but whatever it is, like that, it's really amazing quality nowadays. They just need help with the audio, so get yourself
Yeah.
a good mic.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then the other thing is too, that you want to really get great at is analyzing what works, what worked, and then do it again. Follow
Uh,
whatever formula. I mean, and I don't mean to beat it to death, but follow whatever formula worked. Now, the great thing about live streaming, right? So when this is over, and I will hopefully you'll see this after you see this live stream. When this is over, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go find this video on YouTube and I'm going to send it to some social media people I work with, and I'm gonna ask them to make reels. I'm gonna ask them to make shorts. I'm gonna ask them to pull stuff from here for the purposes of TikTok, Facebook, whatever, short little clips. So live streaming is a great way to get a lot of content done in a short period of time and then be able to repurpose it over and over and over again.
and you really nailed it with the repurposing. We'll do this about an hour of live streaming. You know, our own editors may chop it up into 10 to 15-minute segments. So a little deeper dive in addition to those 15 to 30, less than a minute short videos. And then we take it one step further as we take the transcription, and that's our starting point to do blog articles as well.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's great for SEO purposes and and coming up in search engine optimization, things like that. So, another thing is too, always with go back to, comments later and engage as much as possible. The more popular you get, the more difficult this is gonna be, but there's tools out there that can help you with this, things like ManyChat, and other tools like Hootsuite or, oh, I can't remember the one that I'm using right now. I was using
Well,
one called Social Pilot, that was okay. So, there's all kinds of different tools to go use out there. But the first thing you have to do is just start posting. Start creating content. Try different content on different platforms. If you create content for one platform, don't rush to post. One thing I've learned the hard way is don't rush to post that same content on a different platform. At least wait a couple of days or repurpose it at least a little bit so that it shows up differently, because these platforms are getting smarter and smarter. And what they're doing now is if you've already posted on another platform, they'll suppress your content on their platform. And you don't want that. That's not helpful. So you want to make sure that you're posting s- different variations of content. There's a guy, I think his name is Kyle Philippi. I watch his stuff on TikTok. He has videos. I think those videos are chopped up versions of what he has on YouTube. But I went to his Instagram one day and his Instagram is different. It's same person, same personality, right? But different content. So, keep that in mind.
and so kind of the statistics that we got coached on is you should be able to find about 3, 4 different kind of golden nugget clips for about every 10 minutes, give or take. So you have an hour long presentation, maybe you get 15 to 20 different clips, some of which you can use on some platforms, different ones for other platforms. At least for what our experience has been, kind of the Instagram or TikTok is really for those budding entrepreneurs, the hustlers that you were referencing, where on LinkedIn or Facebook, you tend to just have more experienced
Mhm.
entrepreneurs and professionals. And that will change the kind of approach of, hey, if we're just talking about how to set up and what is an LLC, great for the hustlers,
That's for the
horrible for the experienced.
Yeah, they don't wanna hear that. They don't care. Like, I've already done that. Been there, done that.
Eyes
No, I
glaze
will say
over.
this, I'm trying to feel better about LinkedIn. I'm doing an active campaign starting this morning, believe it or not, to feel better about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, every time I go on there, I just feel like no
A
one's
little bit
here
of
to
that.
actually interact with me.
There's a little bit of that, but there's some wonderful software platforms to help you build and grow your friend network. Very much you can niche it down. I've used in the past linkhelper.com, and
Okay.
you define, I'm looking to connect with entrepreneurs that are in real estate focusing on multifamily, and it will help kind of narrow the scope of who you're talking to and help you build a list and send out introductory invites, but only like 150 per day. So you're not allowed to overwhelm the system or just send out thousands of them. That kind of consistent day by day growing the network. Also, it's not overwhelming to actually to respond to people and to create engagement and relationships.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's fascinating that you can get that much content out of just 1 hour. I mean, I would think you'd have to say everything that you say during that hour has to be absolutely brilliant, but then again, it's us, Nate.
Everything we say is
Everything we say is brilliant.
absolutely brilliant. At least for yourself. I'm just here
Oh,
to be the
stop.
pretty face.
Oh my gosh. Does anybody who's watching this right now have any questions? Please put them in the chat because we'd love to answer them for you. The other thing, and while you're putting your questions in the chat, if you do indeed have questions, I do want to talk about optimized posting times and frequencies. You want to study this.
Yep.
Figure out, experiment. When do posts do well? If I post at this time on this platform, will it do well? And keep track of that. You want to become a statistician. So when you start this out, become a statistician. And if you can't do it, get someone who can. Get somebody who can go through all your analytics and figure out what performed well, how did it perform well, why did it perform well?
And some of these posting platforms, you brought up Hootsuite, SEM Rush. There's different softwares that not only help you schedule and design your postings, but also will report how the traffic and views occurred along the way.
Mhm.
So I will say this though, we will use those platforms for analytics and information. At least in our business, we don't use it for posting because it's kind of like using the same clips and posting all over the place. The algorithm knows.
True. Very true. As particularly on TikTok, and I think actually I made the mistake. You want to hear this, guys? I think I made the mistake of using one of those services on TikTok, and now I have been forever suppressed. No matter what content I put out, um, I put out some content on TikTok that I thought was pretty. It was political, to be honest. Uh,
I just hide from
and
those nowadays.
what's that?
I just hide from those political postings nowadays. I think we've all
Well, it
had
was
just
more
enough.
I'm not overtly political. I'm more of here, I'm giving you this information that I feel like might not quite be out there. I won't say what the information was. And and only information I find incredibly important because I'm not a political commentator. That's not my thing. And I put this out there and I thought for sure it was gonna do better. And then, of course, several days later, I saw somebody else put out a video that was very similar in content, and they had the viral traction and I did not. So I will tell you, yes, what you're saying is exactly correct, that you should do what you can to use those kinds of platforms for analytics, but try if you can to avoid using them for posting because the algorithms do not care for them at all.
Without a doubt, another lesson that we've learned is consistency. Brought it up repeatedly is one of the most important things, but also don't try to bite off more than what you can chew. The algorithms like consistency, but if you go from 0 to 3 postings per day, the algorithm's a little bit like, okay, are you gaming the system? Are you really providing that much valuable information and content? You will get less traction posting more often, at least until you scale into it. And you may want to have one posting per day or every other day for a few weeks, and then a little bit more. And a few weeks
Right.
later, a little bit more. So you scale into really more of the, regular daily postings. Again, it comes down to this mysterious algorithm that nobody actually understands.
Well, it changes all the time too, right? So,
Nonstop.
yeah.
I think it's comical, and that's again part of the forever a student, forever learning is, well, it literally changes every few months too. So you have
Yeah.
to find out what works.
You have to find out what works. And then finally, I just want to end with don't forget the call to action. And you don't have to have a call to action in every single piece of your social media, but don't forget the call to action. Because if you're not telling your audience what to do, then they're not going to do it. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to move on. They're going to go on to the next piece of content. So,
And
and
that's
also,
where I was
yeah,
just saying, back to the feather in your cap, your call to action is always a question. Creating the interest, creating the engagement, but that is literally almost every one of your postings has a call to action, has a question, asks for something to happen.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm not asking for something. Let's be clear. I'm not asking for something. Um, I'm asking for something for the benefit of the audience,
Yeah.
right? Like, so it's not for my benefit, it's for their benefit. Whatever it is, the need to brag, the need to we'll say, what were your wins this week? That gives them an opportunity to brag in a safe space, to tell me what their wins are. What are you struggling with? That gives them an opportunity to ask for help when they need it. Like one feature we just recently were able to um, put in particularly in our Facebook group is the opportunity to post anonymously. And I wrote this simple post. Did you know you can post anonymously here? And if you post anonymously, somebody probably can help you with whatever problem you have. And it started out with a question. Did you know that you can post anonymously here? So feel free to post anonymously. We got 3 people almost immediately post anonymously, asking for things that were vastly different, that they were struggling with, that they needed help with. And every single one of those people had their problem solved within a day of posting their problem.
I love it. And
So,
people
yeah.
don't necessarily want to admit problems. So that
No.
anonymous posting, I never knew you could do that. That's awesome.
No, yeah. No, right. And they wouldn't have known that they could do that unless I told them, number 1. And number 2, like you go, well, what's in it for you on that? In the immediate sense, nothing. In the long-term sense, I'm building trust with my audience. So that's what you need to do.
I love it. Well, as we're wrapping stuff up, I'm just going to throw this up because now it's a wonderful example of, hey, like it, follow us, get on our, content and value delivery. You're sending out for anybody that's interested the content calendar.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you out some social media stuff to help you build your social media. So just sign up there. I'll get it out to you, and just give me a couple of days. All right, don't be fretting if you don't get it tomorrow. Just calm down. All right, we'll get it to you. You will get it. and it's
Well,
free. We don't have anything. That's the thing about this channel is we haven't quite figured out what we're selling yet, but we'll sell you something. Don't worry, we got it.
at some point, we're
At some point.
we're here to deliver value and to
Yeah,
help.
right now we're just delivering value.
So, well, thank you everybody that has made it this far. Really appreciate your time and attention as we sometimes just ramble on about very random but business oriented considerations.
Led Zeppelin wrote a song about it. Ramble on. Oh, look, I got a singing mic for that.
You got it. Let's now we're just here for the Jillian karaoke.
No. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Entrepreneur. I'm Jillian Sidoti.
And I'm Nate Dodson.
That is Nathaniel Dodson. And join us for next week, same time, same place. Bye.
Hi.